Hello friends, for today's video we're going to be chatting through episodes 16 through 20 of the first season of Attack on Titan. I just finished watching these episodes, so I might be a little bit more amped up than usual, and I don't want to even go through my thoughts the way I typically go through my thoughts. It might end up being kind of chaotic, but first off, this set of episodes was so good. Last week I was talking about how, I already know, I'm so sorry, I knew this would happen. I knew that as soon as I sat down to talk about this week's batch, that I was going to be too pumped. I was like, maybe I should wait till tomorrow, and I'm like, no, I gotta talk about it now. Everything's fresh, and my feelings are just like all bubbling at the surface. Okay, I'm gonna try to calm down. It's so good. It's so good. I'm so hooked now, so trying to have some coherent thoughts. Last week, I was talking about, first off, thank you, because the dub is nowhere near as good as the sub. The sub is phenomenal, and that continues, I think, to be true. I love the nuance that these voice actors are giving these characters. They almost feel like completely different characters, so I second that again this week. The sub is fantastic. And then last week I was saying that I really felt like, okay, now we're getting into it. I'm invested. Things are becoming more intriguing. I feel like we're kind of slowing down, but we still have high stakes, and the greater plot is becoming a lot more in-depth, and that there's so many twists and turns that we could have moving forward, and I just found myself having a lot of question marks, and I was excited about that. And then this week is officially, I'm like, okay, unless this show tanks from here on out, I'm pretty sure I'm going to end up loving this show. I cannot remember the last time I was like, no, I just want to keep watching. I mean, there have been shows, of course, like with Avatar, The Last Airbender, there were certainly times where I'm like, okay, I just want to watch more. Okay, I just want to watch more. And I think the last time, though, that I really was like, this is painful to not keep watching would probably be Arcane. But this batch of episodes was so good. For a long time, I was sitting there like, I just want answers. Come on, what's going on? What's even going on? And the more I'm like watching, the more I'm thinking, I feel like there's a mystery afoot, and Irwin knows something. What does Irwin know? And typically I go through each episode and I let you know my thoughts as I was watching, but I'm just going to start from the end. And this is pretty much all I want to talk about. I just want to talk about my theory. And my theory is that it's Annie, right? It's Annie. I'm pretty sure I'm right. And I don't want to be right, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. And when I had this thought, I was like, I told my husband, because we watched it together, I was like, pause it. And I was like, I really need to get out that this is my theory, just in case, because I didn't know if they were going to reveal it, and I really wanted to get out that was my theory in that moment. So I was like, let me see. I think this is Annie. This is the only thing that makes any sense. Theory while watching. This is the one person who didn't join the scouts and joined the military police instead. It would explain
everything.
Yeah. Regardless, I think it's Annie. If you need a refresher as to what's going on within this batch of episodes, you initially are seeing that your characters are going to be officially initiated into the scouts. Obviously, Eren has already kind of been with the scouts after that trial and the military police wanting him, which I'll get more into my thoughts about the military police. But anyway, so Eren's kind of already been there, but you're wondering what's going on with the rest of our characters, what's going to happen to them. And you see they have this decision where they can potentially become scouts. And pretty much everybody that we have seen thus far that has been following alongside Eren, they almost all decide to join the scouts as well, except for Annie, who becomes part of the military police. And so my dumb brain at first, I was thinking, oh, she's going to be a spy for them. She's going to, at some point, I bet in the future, because I have my suspicions about the military police, I bet she's going to end up getting information for them, especially because Irwin, we left off with Irwin having this weird message or statement. It was a statement, not a message, but he had this weird statement where he comes up to Eren and he tells him, who do you think the enemy is here? And it was very cryptic, and you're like, huh, what? 君には何が見える? 敵は何だと思う? And I was thinking, okay, well, there's something going on with the military police. Irwin, I feel like, knows, and he's trying to get to the bottom of it, but he doesn't have all of the details, so he's trying to gain that, and he's very by-the-book, straight-tie kind of guy because he wants to be as lacking in suspicion as possible from those who are in the inner circle. I forget what it's called, but the elites, I'll say. And so I'm like, okay, there's something going on. There's some kind of rivalry there. So I'm assuming that Annie is going to get us the information that we need sometime in the future. But I guess in the meantime, we're going to go out and maybe get to potentially Aaron's old house and get to the basement and then learn more about Titans. Maybe we'll figure out who killed those other Titans at the end of the last batch of episodes. I was just kind of like, okay, well, maybe that will be a future plot. It's, okay, pretty sure I was wrong initially, and that now it was kind of the reverse, which apparently the reverse would mean that Annie, in working for the military police, is now trying to get, I don't know if she's trying to get Aaron or what is going on, but I think at the very least they're trying to keep their secrets from getting out into the scouts. And I'm also like, what the heck are they up to? This is, okay, I told you this was going to just be a lot of, like, excitement and noise coming out of me because I just needed to talk about it as soon as I finished watching it. So the reasons that I'm thinking it's Annie, aside from the fact that she's the only one that is a character we're familiar with, because that would be kind of a letdown if it's somebody that we've never even seen before, and then suddenly this person shows up, and I always think that's bad writing when it's not possible for the reader, the viewer, whatever kind of media you're consuming, when the person who is consuming said media had no way of ever being able to guess. That always frustrates me, and I think that's weak writing. So I was like, okay, it's got to be somebody we know. Who do we know? And then as soon as Annie came to mind, I was like, oh, and I've just been hooked on this theory. And beyond just her being the only one really that went into the military police, there's also that moment earlier when she's kind of the female Titan is first introduced, and she goes initially after Armen, and she pulls his hood back, and you're like, oh no, Armen. And then she just leaves him. And that was weird already. And the very first thing I wrote in my notes, which makes me even sadder about this theory, I wrote, you're weak, but you've got guts. And then I put -Annie to Armen. It was my very first thing that I wrote. I was like, no, it's a full circle. It's totally her. I don't want it to be her. And why is she doing this? I don't imagine they're entirely controlling her. So is it some kind of will ensure that your family is kept safe? And then I was thinking, okay, well, it doesn't seem like, I've noted before that it seems like everybody in the inner circle, they all seem much safer from the threat than everybody on the outside. So then I'm thinking, okay, wait, was her family part? I'm trying to remember her backstory. Was her family part of the military police already? Were they already elites? Because she already knew how to fight. So I'm like, what the heck is going on? And then at one point, Armen is shouting at her and saying something about like, but they killed them. Don't you want revenge? He's saying something. And at the time, I was like, what is he talking about? I thought maybe he was trying to get Jean pumped up or something because he's there too in this moment. And I'm like, but I don't entirely feel like what he's saying. And part of me was like, did he hit his head too hard? Is he gone a little crazy? What is he mumbling about? And I feel like he's trying to talk to her directly, trying to reach out and pull at her humanity and say, what are you doing? What are you doing? Don't you remember the atrocities that we all witnessed together? So I think he was talking to her directly. Because then there's that moment when he says, I have a message, because there's one horse and him and Jean and the other character whose name is escaping me. But they're all like, oh, who should go back on the horse? And he's like, well, I'll stay back, but I need to relay a message. And it's only for, I think he was saying it was only for Irwin. But I was like, well, does he just want to talk about this Titan? But then now I'm like, no, he knows it's her. He needs to get that information out. And then also, I just feel like she seems, even as a Titan, like she's especially capable. And I remember writing in my notes at some point, where was it? I put, not just a human. I need to find this. This was chaos. I'm sorry. Hopefully this is entertaining for you. If you're a first-time viewer, are you as amped up as me about this? But when they were like, oh, I think this one is a human. I think this one is a human. Where is it? I wrote something about how I don't think it's just a human. I think it was, here it is. I said not just a former human, but a former scout with 3 question marks. I don't want to be right, but I'm pretty sure I am. And I don't understand why she's doing this. I feel like it has to be some kind of like blackmail to some degree. But I think she's after Aaron specifically because they don't want their secrets getting out. I should probably go through something else. I should probably talk about something else besides just my sadness over a potential theory that maybe isn't even true, but I'm pretty sure it's true. Let's go back now through the notes. So, like I said before, my first thing I wrote was, you're weak, but you've got guts between Annie and Armen. And then, Marco died where no one noticed. Is that why it feels so sad? So, they're watching Marco's body burn, and you see Jean kind of holding his tooth, I believe it was. And I was trying to figure out, why was his death so sad? Because it really hit me last week more than other deaths in the show have so far. And I'm like, I don't even feel like I knew that character that well. Why did it hit so hard? And I think that there's something to the fact that you don't even really see him die. It was just this lacking in any big momentous moment. It was just kind of like they just found him. And I don't know why that seems sadder to some degree. But maybe because everything has been so in our face, to think that he died just kind of off on his own, alone. Nobody even saw it happen. It just feels especially sad. And I put, since only Annie joined the military police, will she be a spy for them? And then I wrote Sean/Aaron bromance because I feel like they could be. I said this way early on when at first it didn't seem like those two got along during training. I think I said in my batch review I could see the two of them, while initially butting heads, they would eventually push through and then they would have each other's backs. I don't know. Maybe it won't be a bromance. Maybe there will be some kind of strife between the two of them, but I think it's going to be... I think their relationship is going to continue to grow. And then I wrote, Aaron smiled, because there's, at the end of episode 16, when they're all headed out for their mission, some little kids are looking through the window and they see them. And then Aaron smiles. First off, it was a really sweet moment because Aaron never looks happy. So I was like, oh, he smiled. And then it was very full circle because previously, the only time basically he ever smiled was when he was a kid and he watched the scouts coming in. And he had this happiness, like he was filled with hope in seeing them. And also I think there's this kind of, maybe it's not hope, maybe it's just like this aggressive nature in him where he's like fighting. Oh, they get to fight? Oh, I get to fight someday too, maybe. I don't know. But regardless, he seemed very happy when he saw them. And now it's this full circle moment where the kids see him and it brings him joy to know that he's providing them with hope. That's how I'm reading it. But it was a sweet moment. So episode 17 is when the female Titan is introduced. The title of the episode is Female Titan. And I wrote awesome opening because it was. The music in this batch has been amazing. It's been amazing the whole show, but this particular batch, it's been fantastic. The sound effects, especially when that Titan is running. There's something about her footfalls that just really captures how large she is, how fast she is, how terrifying she is. Why did the one Titan crawl around? That's terrifying. So not the female Titan. There's a different Titan that gets pretty much on all fours and it runs like a spider and it's really scary. So that one's quite creepy. And I wrote, Chalet the horse, so loyal. Am I the only... I know I'm not alone in this. I know this is a pretty standard reaction, but I hate when the horses die in shows. I'm always like, why are you caught up in human affairs, you know? Just go be free. The Titans don't seem that interested in you. I feel bad for the horses, though, because I don't want them to get smushed by Titans. Great music when the intelligent one sees Armen, which is the female one. And I wrote, no, Rainer, because I thought that the guy, that's his name. I couldn't remember his name earlier. The one who is with Jean and Armen. And it looked like she was going to smash him. And I was like, no. And then he was fine. Now I wrote phew in my notes. Moving on, episode 18, Forest of Giant Trees. Armen, don't sacrifice yourself, because that's when he's like, I'll stay back if I have to. And I was like, no. And then it's fine because that girl, Krista, shows up. And all three of them looking at her like, wow. And then I wrote my notes. They're all enchanted with her. And the one, Rainer, I think is his name, being like, I want to marry her. I thought that was quite funny. And then that's when, after that, I put not just former human, but a former scout, which I'm pretty sure I'm correct about. And then I wrote California, because when they go up to the forest, they're talking about how massive these trees are. So I was like, are these the redwoods or the sequoias? And we get to episode 19, which is called Bite. And I wrote two things down. I said, someone explain. And then I wrote flashback. What's going on? The whole idea of Aaron during this flashback. You're seeing him with Levi's group, and they're trying to get him to turn into a Titan. They're trying to experiment and figure out what causes certain things, what if he's in that well, does that mean they can analyze him in that form without him being able to get up out of the ground? and then it's not really working, and then later when he goes to get a spoon, then it does work, and his particular form that he gets is really hot, and the one lady, of course, is all pumped up about it again, and she's flipping out, which she's hilarious. And then that's mostly it, but they're like, trust us, Aaron, trust us. And he's like, in present day, I'm going to trust them. And then Levi has this very like, go ahead and do it if you think it's the best route about turning into a Titan to fight the other Titan. And I keep waiting. I keep waiting for more Titan on Titan fights. So he doesn't choose to turn to a Titan. But I was like, I'm so ready to see what the heck is even happening, because then we get to episode 20, which is titled Irwin Smith, and it says, I wrote, regarding the spy, how would they communicate to them? Because I've been wondering this whole time, I didn't write it down, but while watching, I was wondering, why do they not know where Aaron is? Why does everybody seem to have different information about this? That seems odd. And then I kind of just went with it, because I'm like, I'm sure it'll be revealed eventually, but now I love how all of the details are coming together, and I hate it not being explained to, but I really think that it was justifiable in this case. It wasn't just to draw things out. It's because there is a secret, and there probably is somebody within their ranks, and so it would make sense that they wouldn't want that person to relay the information back. But I'm like, how do they communicate? And I just want to know more. I want more of those answers. And then I also had put down, will they think it's Armen? Because obviously, the Titan earlier, the female Titan, didn't harm Armen. So then I was thinking, are they gonna think Armen somehow has some kind of connection, and that's why the Titan didn't kill them? Is Sean gonna be like suspicious of Armen or something? That would be really sad because Armen's really sweet. And then I wrote, it's Annie, that's why Armen was shouting at her, and why the military police wanted Aaron so badly. And then that's it. That's all I wrote. And then that's the end of these 5 episodes. These 5 episodes were so good. So I am so pumped. I'm so pumped. I'm upset that I had to leave off here. I really didn't want to. This is much shorter. I feel like in the long run, I have a lot less to say about these episodes, because pretty much all I had to say was, I think it's Annie. Oh my gosh, what the heck? I just want to watch more. And luckily I won't have to wait as long. This actually was the best time for this to happen, because I was out of town, and I was like, I'll have to catch up on my episodes when I get back from being out of town. And then that means I won't have to wait as long to watch the next batch of episodes. So I can't wait to watch those next episodes and finish up this season. This has been so good. It's been so good. I wonder how many of you were just sitting there when I was first starting being like, I don't know. Some of the foreshadowing feels pretty obvious. And some of you are like, just wait. I don't know. It's so good. It's so good. I'm sorry I'm shouting so much at you. Hopefully this was entertaining. I don't know. I feel bad for future me having to edit. But anyway, I don't know what else to say. I just want to watch more. I am pumped. I'm pumped. There's still so many unanswered questions, though. So much of this first season has just been kind of like, question marks. Do you want to know what's going on? Well, too bad. You're not going to know. In fact, you're going to have more questions by the end. And nothing's going to get resolved. I feel like nothing's going to get resolved. I think that this season is just going to end on this big cliffhanger. Part of me's like, are we even going to find out it's Annie by the end of this season? Because I'm pretty sure it is. But also, are they going to tell us? Or is it going to... I don't know. Armen seems to know, so I feel like we have to be clued in officially. This is going to be so embarrassing if I'm wrong. I don't think I'm wrong. I'm really confident in this, and I'm upset ahead of time. I'm upset already about it. Why would she do it? Why would she do it? Okay, anyway, that's it. Wow, I'm making myself choke. Let me know your thoughts. And I guess I will see you for next week's batch of episodes. So, yeah. Thanks for watching. Bye. Sean, you have to give us your assessment.
Well, is your theory that this show is actually about environmentalism and how, like, a few, like, bad people are ruining it for the rest of us? Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Luna agrees.